Listen, did you smell that? That's the tantalizing aroma of a hot new Uncle Ben lick that's going to transform your playing, and you're going to learn about it here today. Here's the deal, kids. We're going to be doing something a little bit more disorganized than usual here because I sat down to make a brand new weekend wake shot video for you guys and give you all a hot lick to practice and become more better shredders. And I stumbled across this crazy hybrid picking pattern. And I just instantly started coming up with all these different ideas for how you could use it. And I couldn't really narrow it down to like one thing. So I just decided to start filming this and take you guys along for the journey as I figure out what's going on with this lick and how we can use it. Before we go any further, I want to remind you guys that as always, today's video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today and you too can fulfill the prophecy of being a member of my Patreon page, as foretold by Nostradamus. Sign up today even for just $1 a month. It's going to get you access to hundreds of exclusive posts, bonus videos, backing tracks, downloadable tabs, and so much more. So don't delay. Sign up today. Gear-wise for these hot licks, I'm playing this absolutely incredible iconic guitar that was sent over to me by my buddy Kevin to check out. This thing passes inspection. It is ready for shreddy. I can't put it down. It's amazing. Playing through the Friedman JEL-50, and I've got an MXR super badass modified overdrive super little gold pedal in front. And I'm playing that through the Universal Audio aux. Here's the lick in a nutshell. Let's start off here on the 9th fret G string. We're gonna play that with a downstroke. Then we're gonna pluck the open B string and hammer on to fret number 8. So I'm doing some hybrid picking there, hitting it with that bird finger. Next, what we're gonna do is to do the downstroke on the G string again. And this time we're gonna pluck and do a pull off on that fretted note. So it's like pick, pluck, hammer, pick, pluck, pull. It gives you this crazy rapid fire machine gun hybrid picking sound, and you can use it in so many different ways. So whenever I stumbled across that pattern, initially I started playing it across 2 different strings, playing through a scale, using the open string as like a root note pedal tone kind of thing. So for example, I could play through my E minor scale here on my E and B strings with that pattern, and it might sound something like this. Sounds nuts, right? I could do that with maybe like a B minor pentatonic scale too across the G and B strings. And like you just heard, you can start alternating those top notes too for some cool variations in there. If you take that idea and start using that flat 5 in there, you can get some of those rad, like evil hillbilly sounds. Check this out. Yeah, it sounds crazy with all the open string stuff in there, the pedal tones, you know? And then I started thinking about what if I took that across a pair of strings, like string skipping style, you know? I could play through the typical like double stops on the G and high E strings in the key of E minor. Might sound something like this. There's just so many different ways you could use that pattern in your playing. As soon as I came across it, I just started trying to figure out as many different ways to use it as I can, because that's what I like to do. You know, whenever I find a pattern or a lick or something that works and sounds really cool, I try to figure out as many different things to do with it as I can. Just milk it until it's bone dry. Try to be resourceful with your discoveries, you know? I want to show you some more ideas too, but first I want to give you some technical tips to make it sound a little bit more better. Because if you don't have careful control of your muting, this can become a mess really fast with all the open strings, and especially if you're using distortion like I am today, it can get really messy. So you got to get some palm muting going on. See, if I'm not muting the notes, it might sound like this. It's kind of messy sounding. Whereas with the palm muting, it's a lot more controlled and punchy sounding. Now, here's the thing. You're going to be palm muting right at the very back of the string, right where it meets the saddle, right? Because if you mute further forward, you're just going to kill the string entirely if you're on the plain strings, you know? So you got to be really far back here. Now, here's the deal. If you do this slowly, you might think that you're doing it wrong, because with the palm muting, it doesn't really sound very good because the notes have no sustain at all. It's like a banjo or something, you know? So if you do this slowly, you might think you're doing it wrong. But if it sounds like this, you're on the right track. See what I mean? The notes have like no sustain to them at all. But when you speed it up, that's a good thing. So just practice with the muting on there and understand that once you start speeding it up, it's going to sound a whole lot cooler. Now here's the thing about this lick that's the big secret. Neither hand is really working that hard. And the idea for this actually came from a Paul Gilbert thing that I saw years ago. Not that that sounds anything like Paul Gilbert, but let me explain my thought process. So I came across this simple triplet-based hybrid picking thing. It sounded like this. I thought that was cool because it sounded like the traditional Eddie Van Halen style tapped triplets, right? And that got me thinking about this really cool variation on that I saw Paul Gilbert do years ago, where he took that tapped triplet kind of idea, but instead of doing the hammer-ons every time, he would kind of latch that finger on and off. So it was a hammer on the first time and a pull off the second time, like this. When you play it fast, it sounds like when you get the jackpot on the slot machine. It sounds awesome. But the coolest thing about it is, even though that sounds like this like firestorm of notes, neither hand is really doing that much. Even at that speed, my right hand was just going, and the left hand is doing even less. So I got to thinking about trying to do this pattern with that same kind of latching idea, and it turned into what you're hearing right now. Pick, pluck, hammer. Pick, pluck, pull. Pick, pluck, hammer. Pick, pluck, pull. That's your new mantra if you want to get this under your fingertips. And even at those crazy speeds, the right hand's only doing this. It's just kind of announcing the first and second notes of a triplet. Triplet, 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 like that. And then the left hand is just going. It sounds rad, and neither hand is doing much work. This is the best. One thing you got to be mindful of here, especially if you're new to hybrid picking, is to keep that picking motion kind of coming from the fingers, like what you're seeing right here. See that motion? It's not really like a, up or down stroke like this. It's more like my fingers are dragging the pick across the strings. That'll keep your fingers a lot more stationary, because if you're really doing like a pronounced, downstroke like this, that means your plucking finger is on the move, and you're kind of trying to hit a moving target, so to speak. But if you do this motion, your middle finger is always going to be in the same spot. It makes it a lot easier to go back and forth between the pick stroke and the plucked note. So the next thing I started thinking about doing is using as many open strings as I could and doing that kind of waterfall pentatonic sound that you hear players like Brad Paisley do, And I could use like the E minor pentatonic scale. And I can use all the open strings because E, A, D, G, B, and E are all part of the E minor pentatonic scale. So I might do something like this. Sounds crazy, right? I really like the sound of using those seconds in there, using notes that are one note apart from each other in the scale. Especially when you hit those right there where you get some dissonance, with the C and the B notes right there. It sounds really cool with F sharp and G rubbing against each other. God, it sounds so rad. Like, I'm just stoked because I don't really know how I'm going to use this yet, but I know I'm going to use this, and so can you. What if we did some arpeggio stuff? Right? Because we could use like the open high E string here and think about notes in an E minor arpeggio, E, G, and B. So I could play E and G on the B and high E strings here. I can move up to G and B, then B and E. Maybe go to like an A minor. I can still use E there because A minor is the notes A, C, E. Let's see, it might look like. That sounds really cool. Then what if I had like a B7, That's dope. That sounds so cool. I bet I could do that same idea, but with like a full demolished arpeggio sound, like G demolished 7, using that open G string for all you necrophagist fans out there. Then I can just move that up 3 frets. Then up 3 again. Sick. But man cannot live on shred alone, right? What if we could work this idea into some riffs as well? The stuff that songs are made of. Maybe you could do that same kind of idea, get some cool, quasi-animals as leaders meets Mastodon kind of sounds. Let's try some stuff. Yeah, that's freaking cool. So one thing that I'm noticing here is if you're getting tired of the triplet kind of sound, you know, you could use a little bit of mathemagic here and make this into like 8th or 16th note kind of feel. Because if you do this lick, that's 6 notes. Then if you do it again, that's 12 notes. And then if you just add on 4 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. That would add up to a total of 16, according to my homeschool mathematics skills. Oh, dude, that's even sicker. Oh, dude, yeah, I'm gonna be messing with this all night. What the hell is that? What the hell? That's awesome. Sounds like Revocation on crack or something. Yeah, I'm going to be messing with that one all night, and I hope that you guys will be too. Here's what I want you to do is mess around with that idea, come up with some hot licks or riffs, and put them up on the dang old Instagram. But don't tag me. I get tagged in so much stuff, and there's like a lot of things that I don't end up seeing in my feed because I've got a lot of activity on my Instagram right now. So I want you guys to put up stuff with this hashtag, because then I can always search for the hashtag and find it. So upload your licks along with the hashtag Uncle Ben Hybrid Picks. Okay, so hashtag Uncle Ben Hybrid Picks. I can search for that, find all your videos, and check them out. I'm so stoked to see what you guys do with it, because I've just been messing with this for like an hour, and I'm already coming up with all these ideas. Just imagine if I sit around with it for a week. I'll probably come up with some really cool stuff using this, and I know that you guys will too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. And if you want to get the most out of this video and help support my channel, be sure to check out that Patreon page over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars, the greatest place on the internet. Nostradamus said it's the reason why they would one day invent an internet. And we know he was right all the time. So there's no arguing with that statement. Thanks so much for watching this video. Now go grab that rock guitar, start mashing on them ropes. Less clicking, more picking.